afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and I source cars for people on a professional basis, hence the name of my channel, Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. 4 years ago, I was asked to come up with a series of videos that were filmed inexpensively. We don't use digital cameras, we don't use fluid head tripods, we don't use shotgun microphones, we wear tatty shirts, we just use a phone. But we look at cars that you can buy for a budget up to £1,000 only, and we very much enjoy ourselves. These are cars that might be in cosmetically bad condition. You might see oil leaks, rattly dashboards and cosmetic imperfections, but we go all over the country and we find these very inexpensive cars that you all seem to enjoy watching. So here we are, viewers, back at the Grove near Watford. There can only be one thing. Ibby, who is a long-time viewer of the channel, has supplied me with yet another car for review. The last time we were here, which was back in December 2023, it was a Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. This time it's a 2008 Mazda 6. Ibby didn't pay a lot of money for this car. He paid, in fact, yes, half no budget reviews money. This car was in an accident. It has been repaired. It's been repaired well, but you can pick these up anyway without any category marker on them for gosh, don't know, under £1,000 quite easily. This is a very early second generation Mazda 6. It's a 2-litre TS2 model. As you can see, that also needs changing that rear door at some point, and one of the rear lights also needs doing. But I mean, for the money that Ibby paid for this, it just doesn't really matter. I think he's had the front end sorted out and painted, because that was still showing the impact, the non-structural impact that it had. And he's just using it as a runaround at the moment, which is fine. It's what no budget reviews is all about. So these ones came out in 2007. They're based on the same platform as the Mark IV Mondeo. Big old car, this. I don't think I've ever seen a saloon one in this country. They probably did sell them in other parts of the world, but the ones we got were the estates and the hatchbacks like this. Reminds me very much of kind of, you know, this car's about 16 years old, sort of back in the day when actually interiors were just a lot simpler than they are now. And it's nice and comfortable, nice sort of, we might have to move the steering wheel a bit, but we'll show you just there, the nice sort of clear dials. One thing that's really unusual about this car is that it actually has the same steering rack as a Mazda RX-8. I don't know why they put that in, but they did. Just put the key in, and you can see everything's sort of quite simple. We've got 6-disc CD changer that reads MP3 CDs in here. Remember those MP3 CDs? Dual zone climate control. And just, you know, a nice kind of restrained fabric. It's got a nice light headliner in it. Car's done 117,000 miles, I think. Yeah, 117,000, just see through there. And it feels all right. The gear lever's a little bit warm, but again, this car costs well under half no budget reviews money. Obviously, you have to do some work to it, but, you know, there we go. And obviously, it's not the easiest life of cigarette burning there, but what more do you need in your life? How about some power folding mirrors? Because this car's got them as well. So a good specification. I just can't believe how cheap these are, actually, really. We've got some cup holders in here. We've got an aux in down there. We've got a USB, which is a shame, but I think the facelifted ones came with that. Facelift occurred about 2010 for these, where you got a different two-liter engine. It's actually the same engine as the MX-5, and loads of other Fords and Volvos and things like that at the time. Automatic lights. Did we get auto wipers as well? Automatic wipers. Cruise control. Excellent. One thing I would say about this car is that I don't think we've got any parking sensors. Probably why there's been a few sort of bumps on the back of this one is that we don't have any parking sensors. Let's pop the boot. Can we open the boot? No, we're going to have to, where's this button here? Yes, it is. There we go. So you just pop the key. The boot is huge on this. It reminds me of kind of, you know, the days of sort of the Mondeos and the Vectras, which were sort of just before this car was made. Actually, the Vectra was in its last year when this car was made in 2008. Just big old hatches like this, which just don't exist really anymore on the market. Tyre inflator kit in there. It's in the very early years of this car, no spare wheel, which is a shame. So yeah, 510 litres, and of course if you wanted more you could go for the Estate. Fold down the rear seats with these little handles here. We'll check if we've got anything there, and I'll go for the right hand one. That still works perfectly, brilliant. I would probably, if it were me, go over a model with parking sensors or fit a reversing camera to this. That would be better, but there we go. So yeah, at some point Ibby's going to change this door, one of the rear lights, I think, if you can find a door in colour. There you go, rear seat folds down like that. We'll just move over. I can get my thing that way, there we go. So, there's loads of room in here, there's tons of room. The only thing I would say is my head's a little bit brushing the roof. I'm just under 6 foot, about 5'11". Legroom is really good as well. So just move that out of the way and have a look at the armrest in the middle. We've still got an armrest in here. And some cup holders. Fantastic. I'd like some door bins, but even the materials for a car that's 16 years old, it's actually got some soft touch material on top of the door cards. Fantastic. It just feels really well made. The only thing I would say is put that seat back up. There we go. Oh, which is pain to do with one hand, but I managed it. There's no mat pocket in the back of the driver's seat. I don't know why. That's disappointing, but everything else pretty good. So let's go round to the driver's side. Big rear wiper, of course, on a car like this. Yeah, you know, seat set for Ribby, he's much taller than me. There's space behind him, so it'd be fine for me as well. I'm just going to straighten the steering wheel up, actually. We'll take a little closer look at some of his instruments and things. Okay, that's a better view. It's got the steering wheel straight now. It's auto lights, auto wipers, all the cruise control bits. Don't think we've quite got Bluetooth in this. It's a little bit too early for that, but you know, you could put some wide thing in if you wanted. It's just all very simple, really. I mean, the most complicated thing is this little screen up here. I think you could get, I think you could get sort of sat nav with these models, but this doesn't have that. Mind you, a 2008 sat nav these days isn't particularly useful, is it? So, never mind. So, do we actually get anything more than that if we turn this? There we go. There's the slide for the climate control. There's the radio. Glove box. We'll check my supervision documents in there in a sec. But yeah, it does feel quite comfortable. The seat's creaking a bit. We know, with a 16-year-old car, 117,000 miles on it, but I'm looking forward to driving this very much for you. I'm sure it's going to be absolute pleasure. Yeah, there's not much else to say. We've got traction control, of course, on this. Probably a nice car for covering lots and lots of motorway miles, and an auto-dipping rear view mirror. What more is it that you could possibly need in a car that costs less than £500? Okay, let's open up the bonnet and have a look at the engine. As you can see here, we've got some nice door bins in the front doors as well. So the good old Mazda L engine this is. It's similar to the one used in the MX-5 at the time, the NC. Also used in some Fords and some Volvos and things. Chain-driven engine. They're generally very, very reliable engines, the Mazda L engine. Not too many problems with these. The biggest problem might be a plastic rocker cover on these, which I've heard is not necessarily the best. But apart from that, there's not much else to say, really. You don't have to worry about the cam belt in this. But one thing you do have to worry about, there's two things on these cars that I've spoken to about with Mr. Coleman, who's one who looks after my cars, rubbish mechanic. He says about rust, and we can see you've got some little bits on here. Obviously that's not too serious, particularly the car that costs so little money. The other thing is the fuel lines. They can also be problematic, but apart from that, he said they're pretty good. Particularly for, well, not a lot of money. Right, let's go for a drive, shall we? I'm looking forward to that very much. Excellent. First impression of getting in this car. I've never driven a Mazda6 before, actually. I've driven other Mazdas, but not the 6. It's really, really comfortable. The driving position is absolutely excellent. It's fabulous, actually. straight away, just you know, I've driven an RX-8 and several MX-5, all the MX-5s actually, doing all generations of it, and it very much feels like that. Base engine in one of these is a 1.8 with 118 horsepower, which I'm sure is okay. This 2 litre though it'd be better. It's got 144 horsepower. 0 to 60 in this car is about 9.9 seconds, which I'm sure is fine for most people. If you want to go a bit faster, there is a 2.5 litre version of this engine. Very rare, I think mainly in the sport model with 167 horsepower. Strangely enough, that's actually still a 4-cylinder rather than a 6-cylinder engine. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. In 2010, when the car was facelifted, the engine was actually changed for a direct injection one with 152 horsepower, which I haven't driven, but I'm sure that will also be good. Again, it's a very nice gearbox, 6-speed manual in this. Brakes are good. The only weird thing about this car, I mean, it might be something to do with it's done really high mileage, is the clutch. The clutch is a little bit spongy, but apart from that, it's really good. All this boasting about the fact we've got the same steering rack as an RX-8, it might seem a bit stupid, but the steering is really nicely weighted, and the ride's not even as firm as I imagined. Actually, I've heard these are a really firm ride, and Mazdas generally do. They have a bit of a firmer ride because they tend to be set up for people who like sporty driving, and 2, 3, MX-5, all the same in that respect, but somebody's really worked very hard on the ride and handling of this, and even in this example, it's not in the best cosmetic condition. It was bought for less than £500. It's a really nice driving car. Acceleration is strong, and yeah, it's comfortable. The controls are easy to find, easy to reach. I don't know why they had to stop making the 6. I think it was last year, the 3rd generation car. They had to stop making it because people weren't buying them over here, which is a huge shame, because I think a lot of people with families, this was the default choice for many, many years. And knowing that these cars are very dependable, very really kind of minor kind of usual problems with these. Obviously, because this car's so old, there could be other things happening with it, but you know, the sort of money you can pick one of the early ones up like this for, I'm not sure you can really go that far wrong with one of these. Certainly, like a Volkswagen Insignia A, or a Ford Mondeo Mark IV would probably have a few more problems than this. This one seems fine, and you know, just for tootling around, it's obviously because this car's got a petrol engine, it's not emission compliant. Trim levels available on one of these would be S, TS, TS2, Sport, Business Line, Tamura, Sakata, SPO, which is weird, Tamura, and the Venture Edition. I imagine that you know, most of these would be like TS or TS2 spec in this country. I'm pretty impressed with this car, really. So viewers, should you consider a 2nd generation Mazda 6? Well, in conclusion to that, I don't see why not. This is a really good car.